underneath the soles of my brand new pair of shoes. I got the attention, I'm on a mission. No sweat in the way I step, I got a fresh new attitude. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, can you buy me a crown? Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. New look, got the ladies shook. New watch saying it's my time. These magazines wanna feature me, cause they know I'm on the rise. Get the attention, I'm on a mission. Cause ever since I flipped that switch, my power can't be denied. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who tried to write me off,
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Our family started RVing a few years ago, and when I think about all those campfires and fishing trips and sporting events, these are memories that are going to last a lifetime. I want to help others do the same thing. Hi, I'm Kevin Smith, General Manager at the all-new Click It RV in Milton Freewater. People in this community are very familiar with this location and the great service they've always received. So the biggest question we get is, where is Keith? The great news is, Keith is still here.
I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of things come and go. Through all the changes that we have seen, one thing that has not changed for us is the quality of our service.
Buying an RV is a big purchase, but it should be a fun and happy experience. So whether it be in sales or service or parts, our mission is simple: be the best. From our team here at Click It RV in Milton Freewater, we invite you to come down and experience the difference.
Drop
Ladies and gentlemen,
2.1
to the first ever LSRTV FTN broadcast simulcast. I'm Terry. I told you guys that I couldn't go a thing without running a Michael Conti shirt. I just got it today. I'm Terry Radford, one of the voices here for the eNASCAR stuff. That's Daniel Falkenkamp, driver of the number 54 JGR Toyota for the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series. And all the way over there to the other side of us here is Jason Rockefeller. It's a pleasure to have y'all here. Daniel, we had a good run 2 weeks ago, and, well, we're ready for another adventure that's a lot different than Atlanta.
Yeah, we're in for a totally different thing than we saw 2 weeks ago. I think that's really going to be the first race of the Road to Pro season where we're really going to see of who are the strong guys that we'll be seeing up front for most of the Road to Pro season, because this is a track where it's two different styles of corners. You got the very flat turns 1 and 2, and then you got high bank turns 3 and 4. Should make for some interesting racing tonight, that's for sure.
And Jason, second time calling Road to Pro. I think we did it back in the Burnt River Media days with the first time calling Road to Pro here this afternoon. I'm sure you watched the Atlanta broadcast, and it turned out to be a very adventurous but a dominating performance for a ton of teammates up front. But what do you expect here out of Texas?
Well, if anything, it's probably going to be more than likely single file, but you're going to see a lot of guys trying to make some moves very early on. Track position is definitely going to be key, especially with these open setups. I heard a lot of guys say they might try to make it a one-stop race. Some guys might try to make it two, depending on strategy. But to say the least, depending on what kind of setup you have tonight, that's really how your truck's going to handle. And obviously, as the tires progressively wear throughout these runs, for this 100-lap race here tonight, your truck might get loose, it might get tight. So really, it's kind of up in the air right now. But more than likely, the guys who start up front are probably going to be the ones who finish up front. So track position definitely going to be key here tonight.
Well, who better to ask? We have three drivers that have run a ton of practice this week here at Texas for the Road to Pro. We got Liam Sheen, Logan Helton, and Kwame Scott here with us. And I'll start with Liam. Or Logan, sorry, I threw my order off. I'll start with Logan. I'm dumb. Logan, you have a great opportunity here tonight to potentially go up here and make a statement in Split 2. A ton of points on the line. Where do you kind of put yourself here in the realm of possibilities of winning this thing?
I'm gonna put myself in. I'm gonna need some things to go my way, but I don't doubt that if some things go my way, I could contend for the win here. With the position I am in points right now, I'm not gonna lie. Top 10 is all I ask for here. We've had 3 top 5s in 3 races, and getting another good finish here is all I'm looking for to just hopefully easily get our way through this round 1 and get locked into round 2 as quickly as possible.
Well, this might be a crazy question, but out of the entire competitive field that we have here, one of the most stout road to pro seasons we've seen in a long time, what driver stands out the most that's going to potentially be running in Split 2?
Oh my goodness, what a question that is.
I had to throw it out there to you.
Give me a minute so I can pull up my sheet that shows me who all is in there.
He knows the answer already.
It's most likely gonna be oh my lord. How about Kwame Scott? No. Yeah, Kwame Scott. How about Kwame Scott?
I throw the hard questions here. I wouldn't be a true eNASCAR journalist guy if I didn't throw the hard questions.
Yeah, I'd say how about everyone? Because if you're in Split 2, you must be doing something right. So I don't know if I have a specific driver, but I think we're in for a pretty good race here.
I appreciate you. And Daniel, I'm going to pass you over to Kwame Scott, the guy that Logan Helton just told us we had to watch out for here in this race.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to make this real quick because we're about to get going here in a little bit. Kwame, I'm just going to make it fast here. What's the prep been like getting around this pretty weird mile and a half? What's the prep been like this weekend? What do you think of your chances this evening?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not much of a builder, but they send me builds, they send the team builds, and I drive it and I tell them what to do. And I've been trying to run these C opens and figure out, what the car is going to feel like. But there's been a little that hasn't gone our way. But other than that, I mean, I think we have a good set tonight, and hopefully, me and Logan can come out of this thing with like a top 5.
I love to hear. I ain't gonna keep you too long because we're getting ready to go here in a little bit. So I'll let you be. I wish you the best of luck, and we are gonna pass it on to the next guy here.
I guess I'm just the next guy, according to Dan. Yeah, I'm just the next guy.
I'm still trying to learn names here, so my apologies.
Well, I'm with Liam Sheen. Here he is tonight, getting ready to run here at Texas. Liam, Kwame was just saying he was just really trying to run some C opens throughout this week. Obviously, y'all have had pretty much 2 weeks to prep for this race ever since you guys ran Atlanta just a handful of weeks ago. What's the prep been like? Just like Daniel asked Kwame, what's that prep been like? What is it like as a sim driver to have 2 weeks to try to figure out your setup, to try to get as much knowledge as you can for the track or anything like that? What has it been like for you these last 2 weeks?
It's been a little stressful. I don't have too many laps at Texas under my belt, so I had to kind of make up for that this past week or so. Just a lot of laps, a lot of learning from Blaze and all the people at ESE. So I've been kind of the anchor this week. My Q lap hasn't really been great. It's been either I hit it good or I just completely miss it. So my heart rate's up a little bit, trying to see if I can actually get a Q lap down that's worth anything, because you're gonna finish where you queue pretty much after 5 laps, because we get strung out and that's about all it is.
Well, that's Liam Sheen, what he's got. And hey, I don't blame you, man. A lot of these guys, they get their heart rates going and stuff like that. This is some real deal, Terry Radford. This is the real deal, man. This is where it all starts. It's Road to Pro, baby.
Yeah, the road to $300,000 starts here in the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series. Thanks to Liam Sheen, Logan Helton, and Kwame Scott for joining us here this afternoon in preparance for their race. I mean, this is a pretty massive opportunity for a lot of people, but I tell you what, we're going to take a quick break. We'll step aside. We'll get into our respected lobby for Split 2, and we'll be right back with the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
At Click It RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the eNASCAR Qualifying Road to Pro Series live from the virtual Texas Motor Speedway. First time we've simulcasted. You see on the bottom, it says FTN. And we're also on LSR TV, your home for sim racing here. It's still Terry Radford, Daniel Falkenkamp, and Jason Rockefeller on the broadcast. We've started qualifying. We're starting to see drivers about to put some laps down here. Very stout field as you look at the number 63 entry. Getting ready to go in the W machine. Daniel, what's the best way to lay a qualifying lap down as there's Logan Helton ready to roll?
Yeah, it's all about just seeing how hard you can push that throttle pedal to the floorboard, because you're going to be on the throttle so much, you're going to be near wide open through 1 and 2, then you're going to let it rip wide open through 3 and 4. So it's going to see if you're going to have the best handling through 1 and 2, and then see if you can have that straight line speed as trimmed out as best you can to get through 3 and 4 as fast as you can. So we're going to see what these guys can hit here.
And Jason, you've covered the Northwest Truck Series and the Northwest Click It RV Fix Series here on LSR TV. You've seen a lot of driving around Texas. I watched the broadcast last night. You did a whale of a job. You saw the Xfinity cars go around here, but the truck's just a tad bit different. What do you do here? What's your advice to these drivers as they try to punch their ticket on the road to 300,000?
Well, I tell you what, Terry, they're definitely a lot better than me in the sim, and their iRating's definitely a heck of a lot better than mine as well. But really, you saw Logan Helton there right on his outlap. He was running the outside lane, pretty much ripping the wall. Unfortunately, you're not going to see that a lot, obviously, because this is Texas. You know, you get up into that, you know, all the rubber, the debris that's been sitting up there, you know, over the session and stuff like that. You don't want to get up there. So really the only time you're going to see guys do that is when they're coming to take the green flag for their qualifying lap. That's what you saw Logan Helton do there. Now we're looking at the number 31 truck. And right now it's all just about, getting down on that, the inside lane right there against that white line. Obviously, you want to make sure you stick it in there. You have a really good arc into turn 1 and into turn 3. But really just make sure that you don't get loose. You want to be as stable as you can, because any little bobble just makes you get loose, or you can just get tight, and next thing you know, you're just all the way in the back. Because like I said earlier, track position is going to be key tonight.
Yeah, talking to a lot of drivers around the sim, is they said track position, track position, track position. You have to maximize everything here on the restarts to potentially get yourself and an opportunity to win this race. And our drivers that came in here confirmed it as well. Where you start is potentially where you're going to finish here tonight, barring any type of problems. You look at Taylor Hurst, he clocks in on the board with a 31.474. That's good for 33rd so far. About a second, a little over a second and a half off the poles. We'll see if qualifying lap number 2 does anything for that number 7 machine as he comes down the back straightaway into 3 and 4. He's finally painting the bottom. Ran a little bit more untraditional line on that outside lane, as he is the slowest car on the field as he comes across the line. This time, we'll see if he slots in a whole lot better. He's going to jump that thing all the way up to pole. That's a pole running lap. That was difficult, Daniel.
Yeah, like Taylor Hurst, he won last time out at Atlanta. I believe he's out of the front row at Atlanta too. So them boys over there with Taylor Hurst and them, they got their Q stuff figured out, and it seems like their race pace has been pretty good too. Now, like he talked this with us last week after his winner's interview, talking about how you're gonna notice a lot more tire fall off. Handling's gonna be important. Well, we'll see if they've got that truck dialed in for the race here tonight for 100 laps.
That's what it looks like as Anthony Burrows comes across the line, P number 7. We're getting ready to set the field. We're gridding now. We'll take you trackside to our starting lineup for the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series here on FTN and LSR TV. Well, we'll get it popped up on the bottom. Starting P1, the number 7 of Taylor Hurst, to his outside, Jackson Crowder. Go back to row 2. This is where you're going to find Matt Kemp and Philip Groner. Row 3, Logan Helton. And the guy a lot of people told me to pay attention to, Daniel Eberhardt back there in that 4. Row number 4, you got Anthony Burrows with the late qualifying lap and Santiago Tires. And rounding out the top 10, Jonathan Delaney and Dallas Paxka.
Starting off P11, we got Octavio Rondoletto and then Nathan Nicholson, P12. We got Will Cooley lined up here in P13 and John Jenkins here in P14. Got Max Brady and Tyler Groff rolling off of row 8 and P15, P16. Got Matthew Zwack and Kyle Peddle in P17 and P18. And then rounding out the top 20, we got Kwame Scott and Zeke Willis.
And to get your next 5 rows going, row 11, you got David Robertson and Connor Euroshak in the number 11 machine. Row number 12, Jacob Hall, the 23, and Clayton Hoffman in the number 9. Row number 13, James Wenzel and Brad Davies in the number 26 machine. Row 14, Matthew Morton and Matthew Batby in the number 19. And to round out row number 15, Jordan Kuntz and Kevin Champagne in the number 12. Row 16, Liam Sheen in the number 15, and Lawson Peel in the number 27. And then rounding out the field tonight, Connor Horn in the number 30, and Jake Sylvia in the number 8.
That's a look top to bottom of your starting grid here at Texas as we begin to roll off. You're looking right there at your pole sitter. That's Taylor Hurst getting ready to go. Untraditional lap on lap 1, comes around lap 2, and sets a flyer down here this afternoon. So far, so good. Nerves, Daniel. I know people talk about this all the time, but we've left, more of your untraditional style racing. Now we're at a traditional cookie cutter. Is this a make or break time here in this Road to Pro Round 1 series?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, because after tonight, we will be at the halfway point through round 1 of the Road to Pro season. So, and I say this is probably the first true race that we're going to see of who's going to be at the front this year for the most of the Road Pro season, because this is probably the most where we're going to see the driver doing the most work compared to the first 3 races we've had. So, like I said, it's going to be all about track position. If I'm Taylor Hurst, I'm sitting in a good spot right now, and hopefully if this thing stays green, I can put her in victory lane 2 races in a row.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of drivers, Jason, and a lot of them said this could potentially be a one-stop, caution-free green flag race. We're soon to find out, sir, what this is going to be as we come through 3 and 4. Pace sedan. Pace car sedan will get ready to turn down here, and we're ready to turn these trucks loose. And what did you say? That we give it an old FTN LSRTV, feel the roar. We be quiet for lap 1, and we turn these things up as that pace car is down. At number 7, Taylor Hurst is getting ready to go through the restart zone. Already the flag man waves the green flag. We're racing in the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series. Lap 1 complete, no issues through the field. Daniel, it's not single file yet, but how soon do we see them potentially bottom feed here as you got side-by-side, fourth on back?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. It's going to be happening pretty quickly here. Of course, you got fresh tires, brand new tires. Everyone's going to get racy. Try to get all they can get right now and try to pick up that track position before the tires start to fall off and dirty air becomes a thing. It really starts to become more of an impact. It's all about trying to get in line, trying to get in track position as much as you can, and then just we'll see as this race plays out. And maybe, if you want to maybe lay back, save your tires, hopefully this thing goes green, set up for a long run, then maybe you can do that too.
Yeah, Taylor Hurst right now, he's got the best position on the racetrack. Obviously, not just because it's first, but because it's clean air right now. That's going to be really key here tonight, is getting clean air. You see right now, as you look at that number 62 machine, he is all over the back of that number 98. So it's going to be interesting to see these guys, how they're able to progress throughout the field, knowing that dirty air is a huge factor here tonight. And right now, Taylor Hurst, that number 7 machine, he is just trying to check out the best he can. But Matt Kemp and Logan Helt right now, they're stalking him as they head down this back straightaway into 3.
Taylor Hurst coming out of lockdown racing here on the front. As you see the 54 back here, that's Mr. Brady. He finds his way slotted in here behind that 11 machine. Single file-esque as we continuously try to ride up and down the board. I mean, yeah, you talk about a lot of these drivers and what they could do. Max Brady getting in right there in that 11th place or the 10th place position, just got around Octavio Rondeletto. A lot of these drivers trying to figure it out as you go 2 wide, almost 3 wide, a little further on back. And here's a battle for second starting to heat up as well.
Yeah, Matt Kemp just left the bottom open going into turn 1. Thing about entry of turn 1, it is so wide, so you may think you might have the inside covered, but like you see Anthony Burrows trying to look down the inside of Daniel Eberhardt there. Couldn't quite get there, but that entry into turn 1 is so wide that you can kind of dive bomb somebody and make it stick. And unfortunately, that's what happened to Matt Kemp. Got stuck on the outside, was in second, now it's falling back to 4th, and looks like or fell back to 4th. It's gonna look like he's gonna lose 4th place here, maybe collect 5th.
Yeah, and Eberhardt was really, really careful to try to slam the door right there on Anthony Burrows going into turn number 1, because Burrows had such a much better run than him down the front straightaway due to the draft, tried to go to the bottom, and just like Daniel said, this is a very sweeping, wide right-hand turn as we ride on board the number 21 of Jonathan Delaney right now. He's currently in the 6th spot down the backstretch. You see how close these guys are right now. You got to think to yourself, Daniel, question for you, man. At what point do these tires really start to wear out? Obviously, this is an open setup series. So compared to the fixed setup series, when do these open cars really start to wear out with the tires here?
Yeah, I would say probably around maybe like the lap 15, lap 20 mark when you're really going to start to notice handling starting to become more prominent. And that's really when you want to make sure you've taken care of your tires, because like you said, these guys might be doing 50 laps on these tires if this thing goes green, because we'll talk more about the strategy when we get to that point. But yeah, I'd say around 15, 20 laps when you're really going to start to notice it. As we noticed, we actually got a lead change up here with Logan Helton now leading the pack.
Yeah, Logan Helton takes this race lead. Daniel Eberhardt, they're both up 4. So P1 Logan Helton, new machine, and then the 4 machine back there in P2 is Daniel Eberhardt. A lot of drivers told me that Daniel Eberhardt was one of the fastest drivers in practice for the Road to Pro Series. So not surprised to see him come up here and challenge for this. As you look at the 7 of Taylor Hurst, your pole sitter, he's fallen back just a little bit, lost 2 spots. And now we've got Anthony Burrows trying to take a peek underneath as they come through the tri-oval here. It's a bit of an up-down race. If you're the 7, Daniel, what do you do in this position? Do you want to stay up there and fight like heck on the outside, or do you just try to find a hole and get in it real fast?
You might as well fight as hard as you can, because as you can see, there's really no hole for him to get back in line. Like, he's probably gonna fall back to around like maybe 6th, 7th, 8th place if he just lays over. So he can't afford to do that. So you might try to hang tough, but you never know. I've been actually hearing from a few of my teammates down at North Force Racing who are competing here tonight in the top split and the second split, that the outside line, we might see a little bit of multi-crew racing, because on the outside you do have that clean air. And if you're able to carry that momentum, if you got good handle, you can make that outside work. We got a lot of blocking down here going into turn 3 and 4. Daniel Eberhardt making a move to the inside lane. He's going to get that inside lane, and he's going to go for the race lead.
What
an
a
absolute
move by
crossover
Eberhardt there.
move. What a move.
Yeah.
Eberhardt made it stick the 60, or the 2 machine, 63 on your screen with the W machine. Went to throw a block and just couldn't make it stick. He had the Ford up his trumpet in the Chevrolet, and that allowed Taylor Hurst to put himself on the bottom and challenge for P2 Winston.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, we're having this crazy race in 12 laps in. I thought these guys would at least settle in, but you got to remember, this thing is only 100 laps. This thing's going to fly by real quick, faster than you think. So these guys have got to get aggressive early, and Daniel Eberhardt, he made sure he was doing that.
I just can't believe the block that Eberhardt had put on him by that number 63 machine, and Eberhardt was able to take that lead. And you saw Eberhardt really kind of stalking him for the last few laps, and then he had Taylor Hurst right on his back. But look at these guys down the back straightaway. They're fanning out so much. Oh my goodness, you see the 54 right there. Big block to the inside of the racetrack there. That is something that you're not going to want to do later on in this race, because guys are not going to give.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's 254 showing here on the screen. You should take a look at Philip Groner on the back bumper here for that position. He finds himself in the 7th place position, currently looking back at Jackson Crowder fighting here on that outside lane. And the bottom lane starting to make their groove, starting to make their presence known. We're 14 laps in, going to cross here for the 15th lap. But Daniel, you hit the nail on the head. These drivers are fighting like it's the last lap because, well, do we necessarily know when the cautions are going to fall? No. There's no stage breaks. We know that there's a pit stop going to happen here this afternoon. Strategy's going to be, up the wazoo of what people want to do if they want to turn this into a one-stop race. Do we get fuel saving in here? How much tire saving do we see? A lot of comers and goers here this afternoon, but if you're a fan of Mr. Hall back there in the 23, he's 3 laps down, dead last. But Daniel, crazy racing so far, and we ain't even a quarter of the way through.
Yeah, for sure, but like that's what you have to do. You need to try to get that track position, because there's probably going to come in a moment of time where you're not going to be able to really make any moves. You're going to be stuck single file, stuck in everyone's dirty area. It's going to be hard to pass. So you got to make those moves early when you're able to. Now, something I want to touch up on real quick is the strategy, like we've been mentioning so far. But a lot of people said that a one-stop is probably the way to go, but a lot of people have even considered a two-stop. Well, I wanted to tell a little story. I won the pole here for the Road to Pro race here at Texas here last year, but it was the final race of round 2. So of course it was a different time of day, different weather and all that and whatnot. But as the caution is actually going to come out here, I'm going to quickly finish up. But I actually started on the pole here last year, and I was able to lead like the first quarter of the race. But I ended up burning so much fuel out front that I had to save a lot of fuel just to finish the race on a one-stop strategy. It was the fastest way to go. So if you're out front, well, it's not going to matter now, but if you're out front leading so much of this race, you have to be careful of how much fuel you're using up. But right now, with this caution coming out, it ain't going to matter. We're about to take a look at what happened.
Well, we are going to take a look at what happened the moment we find it here this afternoon. Kind of potentially a phantom caution, but strategy potentially thrown out the window here. We should maybe see a lot of these drivers come down pit lane for their first of potentially 2 pit stops now that we could put ourselves in this box, because 60 laps is it's a bit of a stretch. I don't think they can do it, so I would expect a 2-stop strategy as all the drivers. We take a look at the replay here. We'll go all the way back to the 12 machine, and we'll see what had happened was.
Yeah, now they be able to go back and look at this. You're going to see entering turn 1 here. Don't know what, I think they're battling outside the top 20 for position here. But you see them going to turn 1, just throwing a block. It's like on the 78 machine, and they would just go for a big, long slide there, but that was enough to trigger the caution flag.
That happens as everybody comes down pit road, Jason, to nobody else.
Yeah, and that was a very good save, by the way, by the number 12 machine, because you easily, and Daniel, I'm sure you've probably gone around here at all your times doing some sim racing here at Texas. I mean, it is very hard to keep it out of that outside wall, because when you slide, they call Dover a self-cleaning racetrack, and everybody kind of files out down to the bottom when they spin out and crash. But here at Texas, man, you're going for a ride. Half the time, you're about to go right into that outside wall, and that was a really, really, really good job there by the number 12 machine to keep it off the outside wall, get the thing straight, and keep going. I mean, obviously he's going to have some damage, of course, but that was a really, really good save.
Yeah, for sure. He had plenty of racetrack to be able to catch that thing, and thankfully, I don't think he got too much damage out of that. He's able to continue.
Well, given that we are under our first caution here of the evening, and potentially our only, we don't know. If you want all the latest news and updates from the eNASCAR world, scan the QR code that's right there. If you're watching on your phone, don't worry. You can put it up on your computer, LSR TV or FTN. Both have the stream simulcasted here, so you can take your phone, scan that QR code for us, or go to eNASCAR.com. Up to date with all of it between the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, the eNASCAR College Series, or the eNASCAR Qualifying iRacing Series, and Contender. Don't forget about that one as well, and don't forget to tune in to these wonderful outlets for all of your stuff, with Split 1 being covered on FTF, Split 2 over here simulcasted between LSR and FTN, and I don't necessarily remember where Split 3 is at. We work caution number 1. Lap number 20 has hit the board. Jason, what do we expect from here?
Well, just like Dan was saying earlier, these guys have got to be aggressive. We're already almost about to be a quarter of the way through this race. This reminds me of last night when I covered the Northwest Click It RV Fix Series last night here. And that race absolutely flew by. It was only 100 laps, just like tonight. And before you know it, the race was over. I couldn't believe it. And these, these Road to Pro drivers here for Split 2, they're going to get after it. They don't want any more cautions. They want to see themselves get up into a position to where they can pounce, they can attack on these other drivers. I think of Max Brady there in 9th right now. He's been moving up through the field, +6 from where he started. He has a very good shot at trying to get himself up into the top 5. So he's going to try to take every single inch of racetrack that he can use to try to pass these guys up in front of him. I mean, really, the key is obviously keep the tires on it, because we know that right front really wears out here at Texas, and obviously depending on the setups it can kind of change, but that right front is known for wearing out going off of turn 2. So keep the tires on it, stay the draft, try to not let dirty air affect your truck here that much tonight, and really just be aware of your surroundings, because things come at you very quickly here at Texas. And everything's weird in Texas, Terry. Texas Terry Labonte, that is.
Good play on words with the name and one of the greatest drivers to ever drive the 5 car. I like it. But Daniel, you're the resident Coke driver here. I mean, I think between all of us, you have the most Coke starts. So I don't know where to lead that one to. It seems like we're in good company here with you, but +5, +2 here for our top 2, Daniel Eberhard and Logan Helton. Too early to maybe pick her of, or is there somebody that's sneaky good here in this field that could potentially come up and spoil it?
We've still got a lot of racing left. We've had our first yellow. You've seen the racing that we had in the early 20 laps. Well, guess what? With a strategy, you're not going to worry about fuel now. These guys can pit whenever they choose to. It's only going to turn. Business is we're about to pick up a whole lot more here. So I don't think we're going to have a favorite until we really get down to the end of this thing. But I'm prepared to see what's going to happen on this restart here. Everyone's on fresh tires, full tank of fuel, ripping off into turn 1 for a restart. I'm ready.
I think we're all ready, and big thanks to all the people out there tuning in on the YouTube between FTN and LSR TV. We do appreciate you for joining us. I'm Terry Rafter. That's Daniel Falkingham. Jason Rockefeller is here this afternoon. Charles Wooten pressing the buttons behind us. The pace car is down on the pit lane. Let's do this again. We'll go number 2. Green flag's back in the air. Daniel Eberhardt leads them here as we're side by side all throughout the field. And, well, Daniel, you said you're ready to see what happens. Why not 3 wide into turn 1?
Hey, why not? All these guys need the track position. They need to be aggressive on their start. You got fresh tires. You're going to be wide open for a few laps here. You might as well go get that track position. Everyone's trying to get to the bottom lane because, I mean, you don't want to burn your tires too much on that outside lane. It might be best to work that outside lane as we get into a run, but you're just going to be wasting your tires if you get stuck on that outside lane. So get in line, get on the bottom, maybe snooker a few positions, like maybe going to turn 1 here, where we see a few people who try to dive bomb into turn 1, maybe steal a few spots here.
Yeah, it was interesting there what Daniel was saying. All those guys trying to get to the bottom, you saw them off turn number 2. You saw how low Anthony Burrows got. You saw how low Jonathan Delaney got. Look at all these guys protecting that bottom side. They know that if these drivers get to that inside brake line, as you see one driver really loose there on the bottom side of the racetrack, right behind the number 54 machine. I believe that was the 17 machine. Yes, it was. That could have been really bad right there. But that's the thing, man. These Road to Pro guys, they know what they're doing. They know how to save these trucks, but everybody is fighting for every single piece of real estate out here tonight because they know how valuable that track position is and how nice it is to have clean air. You see other drivers right there, big block to the bottom of the racetrack there, 3 wide into turn number 3, and they're all kind of starting to get settled out as they work all their way off turn 4.
Lead changes happen. The pole sitter, Taylor Hurst, jumps back up front, set down a blistering lap, put a 30.21 down, was one of the fastest drivers in the field all so far in the early portion. Drivers in the back laying down 30 flats there, second to last lap. Look at the blocks throughout this field. That's a crazy block there from that number 6 machine. That's Santiago Gutierrez in the Maconi setup shop number 6. He went down there. He made the move. He just couldn't make it stick.
Yeah, Max Brady, he's been very aggressive on this restart. He's been able to snooker on the inside of the truck in front of him, and he's been able to pick up like 2 or 3 spots on this latest restart. He is definitely making some moves, and he started all the way up to 6, so he's definitely making all the right moves right now.
Yeah, I talked about it before, man. Max Brady is super, super fast right now, +9 from where he started, along with James Rizal, the number 25. He is currently in the 16th spot. +9 as we ride on board with Max Brady from the rear tailgate right there as the 6 is all over him. That's Jonathan Delaney there, currently listed as the 21 machine on the scoring pylon. But yeah, Max is doing a really good job right now, running his line, being super aggressive, and he's trying to go after Anthony Burrows right now in that 62 machine. More blocking down the back. There's the 54 machine, 3 wide, now back to 2. They're starting to really get aggressive. Like Daniel said, Terry, these guys are fighting so hard. They know track position is key. And just think, this could be the way this race plays out all night long.
Yeah, my apologies to the 6 back there. That is actually Santiago Gutierrez, a little further back there in 11th position. The sim stamp numbers versus where you are in here, I wish the drivers would stick to what the number is in the session, because that was Jonathan Delaney up there in the 6th or the 7th place position and threw the block in the McConey setup shop machine. And we go all the way back here. I believe this is outside the top 10. We have a fight going on a little further around back. This would be with, I believe, the 6, the 13 of Octavio Rondoletto, Kyle Pettle, Kwame Scott in this fray of drivers that are trying to work their way through the front to get back inside the top 10 for some of them just to pick up the position they lost on the restart. So I don't want to hear anybody say you can't pass here, because we have a +4 driver with Daniel Eberhardt in second, +9 for Max Brady, +5 for Kwame Scott. And James Wenzel, he's up 8 spots up here in the 17th position. So you can make moves here, as you see here, people going all the way down to the apron, Daniel.
Yeah, Max Brady, he's trying to do it again, trying to make a move as late as possible, trying to snook under Logan Helton right there, but just could not do it that time, and now he's going to end up losing the bottom here. Do I believe the number 6 Coney setup shop truck right there, and see if he can try to get back in line here, just try to roll this top side, try to get back in line right here, but yeah, Max Brady, I keep an eye out for him near the end of this race, because if he can keep making these moves and making all the right moves at the right time, I wouldn't be surprised he'll be up here at the end of this thing.
Well, I tell you what, Dan, he's got to be really careful because he almost jumped right in front of that number 6 machine, which is Jonathan Delaney there. I mean, he completely cut him off almost going off turn 4, but he noticed the 6 was to the inside, gave him the room, the 23 behind him. That's Dallas Mataska there. He almost got into the back of Max Brady as well. So all these guys fighting for every piece of real estate to do. Max, by far so far, has been the most aggressive driver. Every time he's gotten runs as we ride on board Dallas Mataska there in the number 3 machine, he's to the outside of the number 6 car. But Max has been super aggressive so far, still in that 6th spot, Terry, and he's just going to keep on probably making runs like this. And if he gets those runs off those corners, I wouldn't be surprised if you see Max trying to throw it down all the way to the apron, because that's practically what he's been doing every single time. And here we go. Taylor Hurst trying to make a move to the outside of Daniel Eberhardt off turn number 2 for the race lead.
Yeah, Eberhardt got the run down there on the bottom through turns 1 and 2. He makes the pass stick. And a new leader here, that 4 machine of Daniel Eberhardt for the team, I believe with the Ryko set up there, gets that pass. And yeah, but back to Max for a second. Is it not surprising to anybody that he's one of the most aggressive drivers in the field? And that's not a bad thing, right? But Dan, you have your Coke hat on. You have your eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing hat on. A guy like that coming into the Coke Series, does that worry you more? Or do you want somebody who's kind of like all around even? Do you want a guy that's able to make those type of moves this early on a restart?
Well, to be honest, you have to be that kind of guy, because in our race at Richmond on Tuesday night, I learned real quick how aggressive people are on restarts. And yes, I've been watching the Coke Series races for so many years, even like just over the last few years, how aggressive people are on restarts. Well, I got my own perspective of when you have your own perspective of being in the car racing 39 others, it really surprises you how aggressive people are when you're inside the car racing, because I learned that the hard way on a few restarts this past Tuesday night, and I even made some aggressive moves of my own, which unfortunately led to me getting wrecked. So, yeah, Tuesday night, it definitely was an eye-opener for me to see like how aggressive the field really gets on restarts, and even just throughout the whole race, which at the end of the day, with how short the races are and how much is on the line at the top level of eNASCAR, it's not surprising to see that kind of moves, and if you're someone like Max Brady who can make really amazing moves at the start of this race, you got to have that kind of instinct to be able to do well. Because like even me, I don't really think I'm that aggressive of a driver. I'm not that good at making these types of moves. But I've been learning in my first 4 Coke races that I'm kind of having to change up my style a little bit.
Well, I kind of had to ask, because if you look at the aspects of all the different drivers that touch the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series, I mean, you see normally a pretty decent shakeup, but there's some wreck in the back going on. Drivers, I believe, saved it there. That
hung on to it.
Harry, Jason, what happened?
I have no idea. One driver in the very back.
Oh my gosh.
Seems like everyone kept it straight here. We're going to stay on the grid and complete a lap 37 during lap 38. Not sure what happened there, but whatever they did, they managed to hang on to it. We stay green, and Daniel Eberhardt continues to lead.
That was super interesting there going into turn number 1. Terry was given the call, and next thing you know, you saw one driver, just like you saw the 12, cut across the other driver's nose earlier on in the race and caused the first caution of the night. Slip the racetrack, was able to save it. Then another driver all the way on the tail end of that line, that's kind of like a freight train, just pretty much got onto the apron and was able to save it. Man, these guys have been super aggressive all night, but we keep talking about a track position over and over and over again. And if you provide these guys a bunch of restarts as we ride on board the number 18 of Jackson Crowder right now, sitting in the 8th spot, just see him right now trying to ride line. He's trying to make up some positions. But, you know, Dan was just talking about it, Terry. You know, he tries to, you know, get everything he can on restarts. And us all 3 of us as sim racers, no matter who you are, no matter what your status is on iRacing, your I rating, your safety rating, whatever series you're running, Everybody knows that any given restart, you have an opportunity to try to pounce and get a better position. It makes all these guys super hungry when they have those opportunities in front of them. So if there are more restarts, I expect these guys to get very crazy very quickly here.
Well, I do have to say, I would probably be in 99th split if there was 99 splits with my 1800, my whopping 1800 I rating here on the sim. But I make it to top split when nobody else is racing. So I'll hang my hat on that one. I like a microphone instead of a steering wheel 90% of the time. We'll reset your top 5 here. You got Daniel Eberhardt, Taylor Hurst, your pole sitter, Logan Helton, Anthony Burrows, and Matt Kemp round out your top 5 as you see the first battle we have here. I believe that would be between Jackson Crowder and that would be Philip Groner that's fighting side by side here this afternoon. As that did not last long as you go back one behind him. You have Jonathan Delaney and Dallas Patska that are fighting side by side. Delaney to the bottom, Patska to the outside. Not a whole lot more than that, but Daniel, I think we're getting very close to potentially putting pit stop number 2 underway here.
Yeah, sure. The pit stop window is probably going to be opening within the next 10, 15 laps. But what I've noticed even last year, what's going to be very important is you really want to try to pit with a good group of people, or at least pit with somebody. Because even though like we're this is really like the first race all year where we're really lifting off the throttle, a lot of off throttle top your turns 1 and 2, the draft in these trucks means so much. So you're going to want to pit with somebody to be able to stay in their draft, because if you like having to pit by yourself and you're all by yourself like all over the track, you're going to be really slow because you're going to have no one really like towing you around the racetrack, or you're not going to have someone to be able to draft with, be able to like go really fast, try and make up time. So it's going to be really critical, and you don't really want to pit too early either. You might want to try to pit as late as you can to make sure you have the tires to be able to compete at the end, because you know you're going to get buried back in dirty air, and you want to try and have as much advantage as you can.
Well, also, you got to look at it too, is if you're going to be pitting with a group of cars, like for example, if you're that number 6 machine right there of Jonathan Delaney, if he pits right now, I mean, I'm sure obviously that wouldn't happen, he knows better, but you know, you're signaling to these guys over the race cons, you're signaling chat, you're telling your crew chief, your spotter, whoever, to tell the field, hey, I'm coming to the pit road this time by. It is very tricky to go from about 170, 180 miles an hour in turn 4 to pretty much all the way down to about 45 miles an hour. I want to say that's about what pit road speed is. It's going to be very hard for these guys on green flag runs to get down to pit road.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there for a second, but looking back to Jackson Crowder there, I don't know whether it was like some sort of incident that happened off turn number 2, but that's really, I've split up these guys up front as Taylor Hurst to go for the race lead, but I just noticed back there around for 4th or 5th place that the field got split up really good there. We got a whole big old pack out there for around like P5, P6. Seemed like there was some sort of incident that happened off turn 2, because we saw Jackson Crowder all the way down to the inside of the back straightaway. I don't know if he was trying to block or unless he got loose, but that was really split up this pack even more. It was starting to spread out a little bit, but now it's starting to spread out a whole lot more now.
Well, it looked like it all started with Max Brady, who was sitting in the 5th place position, or the 6th place position for a little bit. Kind of slipped back. He's all the way back here to that 8th place spot. He washed up the racetrack, gathered it back up, but now he finds himself fighting a total different crowd. He's got Anthony Burrows, Jackson Crowder, Philip Groner. They've all passed him here. But you still have the battle between Jonathan Delaney and Dallas Patska that's going on here. It seems like they're log jamming this. It looks like I-95 traffic is, well, here comes Kwame Scott. He's up 7 positions up to the 12th place spot. He's trying to work his way into this realm, starting to get the long run speed drivers to field here. There's a lot over the horizon as we're closing in on lap 50.
Yeah, we're getting close to the halfway point here in this race, completing right now on lap 48. Of course, this run ain't going to be as long as what it would have been if we stayed green. We might have been done about maybe 50 laps green, but now we're probably if these guys are going to probably split this thing evenly, they're going to be probably going 40 laps and then pit. So maybe around lap 60, lap 65 is when we're going to maybe start seeing people start coming to pit lane, and we'll see how it all cycles out.
Yeah, the pit window opens about 46 to 48 laps usually. I got some insider info from one of the guys who's going to be in one of the splits. He said that was around what the fuel window was pretty much for him at least. It could be about the same way, and I think Daniel hitting the nail right on, or yeah, the head of the nail right on the head. That's the right analogy, because in the next 10 to 15 laps, these pit stops are going to be open for these guys to try to come down, make some adjustments, and do whatever they can to try to make sure that they've got what it takes to go to the end. As you ride on board the number 13 machine, you're seeing some of these guys really starting to lift now, Terry. Tire wear is starting to be a factor. Everybody's kind of starting to get a little bit more strung out. But hey, the racing is just as great as it was at the start of this race.
Octavio Rondoletto makes that pass on Dallas Patska for the 10th place position. That'll put Kwame Scott on the inside there, trying to make the run. Can't get that done. Leaves him back there in the 12th place position. And all the blocking that continuously happens here, there hasn't been a whole lot of drivers not throwing blocks. I mean, it seems like every time we do a pan cam of on board or high above the Texas Motor Speedway, you see blocks like that. Every single driver trying to protect the bottom lane. Not too surprising to see that. This is kind of weird that now we're across the halfway point here. Pit stops are on the horizon. A caution could come out at any moment, Daniel. I mean, we've seen these drivers block to the inside, block to the outside, push drivers out of the way, wash them up the racetrack, and we've only had one caution flag.
Yeah, I feel like if we're going to have another caution, it's going to be pretty unlikely because we're really starting. Well, as I'm saying that, we got 3 or 4 people trying to block down to the inside here in turn 3. But we're starting to see this field get really spread out a whole lot more now. So maybe at the rest of a caution is looking pretty unlikely. Maybe someone could wreck it coming on the pit road. It'll be intriguing as we go through these green light pit stops. If a caution were to come out, that could really shake this field up.
Yeah, and like I was saying before, when we had some calamity too up on the racetrack, off turn number 2, yeah, that's a big thing. And Daniel just really hit it spot on. That was what I was going to say, man. You know, these guys, they're going to be trying to get to pit road. They might be trying to pit with some people, like Daniel did say. But when they do come to pit road, like I said, 180 to about 45 to 40 miles an hour. That is huge, and especially with the banking transition off turn 4, down onto that apron, onto pit road, you're just asking for trouble, especially if you're in a big pack of trucks like these guys are right now. Even the pack that we're looking at, imagine those guys, like let's say right there, that number 54 machine, right down the bottom. If you wanted to pit right now, all those guys have to go all the way up to the outside.
We do have a driver on pit road. We got Jake Sylvia in the 8 machine. Has worked his way down. I believe this is a scheduled pit stop for him, as he's one of the first takers that comes out. He did start in the 34th place position, so he is up 1 spot. Jake Lee's 2 laps down. He's still currently running, so we have all 34 drivers sitting on the racetrack at the same time. See sides come down next. And ask a loaded question out of the field is before we don't get a caution before this. So we'll start with the Jinx here in just a second, but what position do you potentially see that opens the floodgates for all of these trucks to come down pit lane? Because you go all the way back to 10th. It's a 4-second difference between the top 10 of this field, and you go all the way back to, I don't know, 20th to make it 5 seconds. So what positions can be gained if you try to flip the strategy?
For sure, but the thing is, you don't want to pit too early. You don't want to pit by yourself, so you're at the risk. If you do want to pit early, you better hope someone comes with you. Because if you pit early and you're by yourself, it's not going to be pretty good. It's not going to be that good, but if you decide to pit really early, you're going to have to try to navigate all the traffic that have still stayed out, because you're going to try to pass all the guys that are still continue to stay out, because they're going to all be on old tires in one big pack. So you got to make sure you navigate yourself around all the traffic too. That's something you got to keep in mind too. But within probably the next 5-10 laps, probably when we're going to start seeing people pull the trigger.
Man, well, I tell you what, too, Dan. I mean, these guys might even have to make a green flag stop here if we keep seeing drivers like that number 99 car or truck right there. He was all over the place, practically lost it off too, almost tank slapped the wall there. These guys are fighting every lap like it's the last. Almost some contact there. 99 drifts up the track, almost into the 23. Everybody starting to get super, super tight here on this long run as they work their way into 3. The question, though, is, like Daniel did say, Terry, When are these guys going to pit? Who are they going to pit with? Who's going to leapfrog who? There's so many questions to be asked here as we're just a little over halfway in a NASCAR event.
As we go look here, we'll say this again. If you want the latest updates for the eNASCAR world, scan the QR code down there on the bottom or visit eNASCAR.com and put you in the world of all things eNASCAR. And if you want to potentially race your way for a chance for $300,000 in the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, iRacing.com is your portal to the sim world. You could potentially race against a guy like me, a guy like Jason, or you can race against one of the best with Daniel Falkingham up here in the booth. And who knows? Who knows who you'll bump into in one of the official servers. You get your license, get all the way up here to the eNASCAR qualifying road to pro iRacing to get to contender to potentially have a shot to take your way at a crack at $300,000. And who knows? With all of iRacing's awesomeness.
We got pitters. Taylor Hurst in the pits.
And we have people coming down pit road. Who was that? Taylor Hurst, the leader, is in.
He is pulling the trigger first. Pitted from the race lead, probably splitting it evenly. It's lap 60, 40 laps to the end. He's pitting now. Now the only thing is he better hope there ain't no caution coming out. But I won't be surprised the floodgates are now going to open. I didn't mean to cut you off there, Terry, but we got some action happening.
No, you're absolutely fine. That's what we're here for. This isn't your traditional broadcast. You have three distinct people calling this race. As here comes Daniel Eberhardt, the number 90 machine for the team for Ryko Ford. He's on pit road. We have RG Bargy coming on pit road. We got Max Brady, Burrows, Rondeletto, Goff. All of these drivers are in pit lane, and I saw a ton of smoke, Jason. Things are getting crazy on pit road.
Yeah, Everhart right there was coming into pit road, and oh my goodness, he almost smoked himself coming onto pit road. He smoked tires. He almost smoked himself there heading in. He's going to put 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles on it, maybe make a few adjustments, take some tape off, take some tape on. Who knows? Maybe make some tire pressure adjustments. He's off and away, but look at these guys. Oh my goodness, the whole field. This looks like a Talladega Daytona type pit strategy race right here, Terry.
Well, Daniel, you did say, right, that they needed drafting partners to potentially come up here and have a shot at this?
Yeah, I feel like once the first person pit, I think that was just cute for everyone to pit, and plus probably just making this as even as they can, and plus they're getting low on fuel here anyway, because with the way the caution played out, they weren't going to be running too much longer on fuel anyway, so felt like it was the perfect time to get tires, to make sure you don't overshoot your pit box. Whoa, what? Look out! That is Santiago Perez going around. There will be no caution. He's on pit road. He'll get it back. He'll get it back righted, but that is a lot of track position down the drain there for Santi.
Well, that McConey setup shop driver in the Toyota Tundra did not enjoy his time in the pit road, but Clayton Hoffman, Liam Sheen, David Robertson, and Jordan Coons have not pitted yet. That is your top 4. All the way back to 11th is where you find Taylor Hurst, the first person to pit. He holds a 7/10 of a second lead over Daniel Eberhardt, who is potentially going to put a good challenge up here for this race win. But if you're anybody in the top 4, you're praying for the yellow flag, and you're praying for it now to put yourself. You have a lot of drivers one lap down, as they've got 9th or 10th on back now, a lap down at the moment. So, Jason, if you're one of these drivers, this is your golden ticket and your golden opportunity to sit there and pray really hard.
Yeah, he almost just cut off Jackson Crowder right there. You just see these guys right now struggling with these old tires, seeing how much faster the guys on 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles are. And that's the thing, Terry, now that these guys, they've kind of gotten themselves back on the lead lap right now. But, you know, I mean, if they're going to pit, they're going to have to pit way later. They're just begging and pleading for a caution right now. Oh,
Caution
that's just what they needed.
Prayers have been answered at Texas. Cautions out for Clayton Hoffman, Liam Sheen, David Robertson, and Jordan Coons. They couldn't have asked for a better miracle. They're going to have multiple laps fresher tires than the rest of the field, and a ton, and I mean a ton of drivers are a lap down. I mean, you go back to 25th. There were 24 cars on the lead lap here this afternoon. The first car 1 lap down is Brad Davies in 25th. And there is a lot of drivers who will not get the wave around, so net gain for those drivers in the top 4, plus a ton, Daniel.
Dude, I'm counting 11 trucks on the lead lap when the yellow came out. So if you're like guys like Liam Sheen, Hoffman, all these guys that stayed out, man, the money bank just opened. It just flung wide open for you. And now they're gonna have the tires. They're gonna be in a great spot for the restart too, because they're gonna be all inside the top 10 here. Well, when they restart the race. Now, I believe these guys that have already pitted, I think they got one set of tires remaining in the pits. So I wonder if they'll come and use that right now. But I suspect that these guys are going to stay out while all the front runners that have decided to go along, they are going to come get their tires now. And we might have to watch out for them at the end of this race.
I think my timing was a little bit crazy. I jumped the gun, boys. I counted the wave arounds as potentially on the lead lap. So pardon me here.
Well, now we're going to try to figure out where this yellow, because I did see smoke in the back of the pack coming off of turn number 2. It was definitely, I couldn't quite tell who it was, but there was a lot of smoke coming off turn number 2. Hopefully we can try to find a replay here in just a minute. We'll get to look and see what happened. But still, like, if you're guys, like, all the guys, like, I think Jordan Kuntz, Liam Sheen, all these guys, Clayton Hoffman was the big one out of that. He was leading the race. And he's going to be a good spot. There's going to be, and also with that, there's going to be so many wave rounds too, but they're all going to be restarting at the tail end of the field.
Yeah, that's unfortunate too. You know, everybody hoping to play strategy, not playing into their favor here tonight. And that's the thing, you know, Texas, it's weird, man. Instead of before the race started, you know, and during as well, everything's weird here. You never know what's going to happen, especially this track. You know, everybody not really liking the way they reconfigured it after 2017. But so far tonight, everybody's been very aggressive. Drafting, like Daniel said, been playing a huge benefactor. And if you're those guys who, you know, didn't pit, you know, I mean, shout out to you. But, you know, it just obviously some guys, you know, they have to bite the bullet. Other guys, you know, they're going to get away scot-free. So, I mean, I guess, you know, whatever they got to do it now, because we're coming up now to just pretty much, you know, 3 laps to go. So it's going to be really tight. You're going to see a lot of guys trying to fight for every single piece of real estate here with these next few laps that we're going to have remaining, because it's practically going to be a shootout.
Well, unfortunately for Jordan Kuntz, who I mentioned was one of the beneficiaries of that, well, he was unfortunately the cause of the yellow flag when he was on old tires, slipped up off the bottom in turns 1 and 2, got a bump from a guy on fresher tires, couldn't quite make out who it was, but that's guy on fresh tires, man, got in the back of him, that spun him around, and that's what unfortunately triggered the yellow. So if you're Jordan Kuntz, you needed the yellow, but unfortunately, he was unfortunately the one that was on the wrong end of the stick for that. It was Connor Euroshak who actually got in the back of him off of turn number 2 there on lap number 66. So unfortunate break for Jordan there, but got to pick up a little bit of damage. But he's still going to be in a good spot though when we go back green.
Well, I'm not saying that you would have a great career and a great future once you've packed up the old wheel from the NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing series to jump up here. You called wrecks before we could find them. As you take a look here at the replay, and we'll see what had happened was that had brought out our most recent caution. It was pretty much handed to us here.
So here's what's going to happen. You're on ride with Connor Euroshak, but you're going to look ahead of him in turns 1 and 2. You're going to see the 00 here right in front of him on old tire. Completely misses the bottom. Euroshak tries to get around the outside of him, just barely gets him in the right rear quarter panel. And that was enough to center him around, and that was enough to trigger the caution flag. And then we had another incident after the yellow flag has come out. I believe that couldn't quite make it who the 23 truck was, but there was more contact after the yellow. Everyone just trying to get woed down, and we just had unfortunate contact there. So very unfortunate there, but that is what has triggered our second yellow flag of the night. And it probably, with 30 laps to go, it's probably not going to be our last.
No, I don't think it will. I think we're in for a treat, because you go all the way back. If you look at 8, that's a pretty decent number. You go back to Clayton Hoffman in the 9 machine. First truck on fresh tires. Oh, yeah, there's Liam Sheen up 22. Oh, yeah, there's Jordan Kuntz in 10th, and there's David Robinson sitting there in that 11th place position. So we have an opportunity. As you take a look at the caution information brought to you by Virginia 811, call before you dig. 2 total cautions for 6 laps with 11 lead changes. Now, granted, boys. That had to do with the pit stops and everything kind of ensuing there. And we've seen a lot of swapping in the lead between the 2 of Helton, the 4 of Eberhardt, and the 7 of Taylor Hurst. But this lead swapping's not over. Well, that outside lane looks a little bald here. The bottom lane has a lot of wave around trucks. Into the restart zone they go. We're racing once again. Lap 71 hits the board here in the eNASCAR qualifying iRacing series.
You know, look at everyone just trying to funnel to the inside of the racetrack. Short way around, wide open, it's on semi-pressure tires. Not the freshest tires in the world, but let's keep an eye on Liam Sheen here. He was one of the beneficiaries of that yellow. Let's see how much ground he can make up here.
Yeah, you see right there, Jackson Crowder, Clayton Kaufman, David Robertson. Those guys, or not David Robertson, but yeah, no, it was David Robertson. Those guys were 3 wide off turn number 2. They kind of singled themselves back out now, and they're all trying to chase those leaders right now. Everybody running all over the place. We're 2, 3 wide. Almost 4 wide at some points. Time is ticking. The clock is running out. These guys have got to fight for every piece of real estate these last few laps because every position matters here in the eNASCAR qualifying Road to Pro iRacing series here because obviously this is a very short round 1 season and then round 2 approaches. These guys are fighting for every single position here, Mr. Radford.
Well, they always tell you that you have to fight for your right to party. Well, why would you fight for your right for $300,000 in split 2? You don't make as many points as you do in split 1, but this is a very talented field. These drivers could technically compete with those drivers in split 1. They race with them quite often in practice to beat the top split guys from time. Rewind doesn't necessarily work in the trial. We got real quick. We backed out of that. Oh, there's a lot of racing going on, and you might be right. This might not be our last caution.
Sorry about that, my mic was muted. Sorry about that, my apologies. As I was trying to say before my mic was muted. Yeah, we're getting into the final quarter of this race, and you see these people trying to go make all the moves they can, trying to dive bomb it in the inside, 3 wide, 4 wide. Like, it's getting crazy now, man. I'm glad to be up here. This gives us all the entertainment up here. We see 3 wide up here. We got more blocking in the back. We got 3 wide up here. I believe Liam Sheen has put it 3 wide near around the top 5. But that's what Liam needs to do. He's got the tires, and he needs to use them before they start to eventually even out.
Yeah, and that's the thing, you know, these guys are all going 3 wide. Big move there for the race lead. Daniel Eberhardt to the bottom of the racetrack, side by side. Everybody's fighting for every piece of racetrack here. Daniel went to the top, went to the bottom, tried the crossover. He goes to the inside, trying to be clear here of Taylor Hurst. And here comes Logan Helton back in line now. He's going to air push Daniel Eberhardt right to the lead. Eberhardt clears Hurst off the corner. As you ride on board with Logan Helton, he'll move up to the 2nd spot as they work their way into turn number 1 this time by.
I do enjoy the good Evan Pasoko reference. I think that was our first one of the night. But a good side-by-side reference is always welcome here in the Road to Pro qualifying series because this could help establishes himself up into P2. Look behind him. It's easy. Driving, blocking to the bottom. She's trying to make the pass here very soon to try to make the number 7 of Taylor Hurst. 2 weeks ago, winner at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Trying to not outside the top 5 for the first time. We're seeing some changes. Anthony Burrows, Max Brady, Cam Hoffman, Robinson, and Crowder, your top 10. A whole host of new drivers, Dan, that we haven't really seen all race long, kind of creeping up here in the last little part of this race.
Yeah, for sure. Logan Helton, he's been riding around the top 3, top 5 all night. Now he's back up here. He's up here in P2. I think he's run all night long. Try to see if he can have a shot at this race wins. We got a battle for P5 here. Max Brady going the inside of Anthony Burrows, side by side, entering turns 1 and 2. I think Max Brady, he might be able to get the spot here, but Anthony's going to fight hard in that outside lane.
Yeah, he is going to fight really hard off that top side. Max now, he's got no drafting help behind him. Everybody up on the top now singles back down to the bottom side of the racetrack. Anthony Burrows is the one that they're going to leave out to dry as they work their way off turn 4. Man, Max has been so fast tonight. He wants to keep moving up. He's just not able to clear people. He needs to get the luck that he needs in order to pass the drivers here late in the going at Texas, Terry. We're coming down to the last 20 laps. Gloves are off, man. It's time to go.
Yeah, it definitely is. Go time, wheel to wheel as they go down the back straightaway. You still see Max Brady, Anthony Burrows. Starting to see drivers single file back into the bottom. Everybody trying to settle their ways. We come across the start-finish line. Daniel Eberhardt will see 20 laps to go here with Logan Helton, Hurst, Sheen, and that would be the one of Max Brady. Rounds out your top 5. Caution! Speedway, here we go. 20 to go, and the yellow flag.
Yeah, that was a perfect camera shot right there. We see someone sideways and someone's headed straight for the outside wall. Got to go back and see who that was, but another yellow at 20 to go. I'd say cautions, breeding cautions, I'd say, Terry.
Yeah, I would imagine that. I would imagine so. As we take a look here at what happened, I believe that would be David Robinson in the 34 machines about to get turned here. And I think I'm right. He goes block, and you're not clear, and around he goes hard into the outside wall. That's
we got our brakes back here.
He gets hit.
Trouble.
Big trouble. He gets hit one more time just for the
23.
fun of it.
We're
Bam.
still hitting each other.
I think that was a bit of, hey, why did you come down the racetrack, guy?
I think that was almost like Bowman Gray.
Unfortunate.
That was Bowman Gray Stadium right there.
How do we get a good Evan Pasoko reference followed by a good Bowman Gray reference? Here we go. Pit windows open. What do we see? Every single driver down pit lane. It didn't take a rocket scientist to pick that we were all going to pit, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. David Robertson not happy with the radio with Jackson Crowder after that latest caution, but everyone coming to pit. I believe this is the last set of tires they all have. They're going to come get their last set of tires, and then it's all full throttle to the finish here. Just aggressive as you can, get all the spots you can. Don't make any mistakes on pit road. Don't speed, don't slide through. And we'll see who gets off first pit road here. Here comes Liam Sheen out of the box, Max Brady. And it looks like Logan Helton is going to win the race off pit road. Oh, we got a little bit of gamesmanship going on coming out of the pits. And we'll see the order. Daniel Eberhardt comes out second. Liam Sheen comes out third. He was going to come out fourth. And, I think we might have a speeding penalty here.
Yeah, it's Daniel Eberhardt with the speeding penalty back there. And the 4 machine, he's getting passed by everybody. And can I ask a stupid question?
Let me hear it.
Obviously, we're under 20 laps to go. You know this is your race to the finish. Do you take fuel in this situation? You were good on fuel anyhow. Do you potentially try to free that truck up just a little bit more, lower those air pressures, and try to make a better situation out of where you're at right now?
Well, it definitely wouldn't hurt. You might want to try to underfuel the truck, take a little bit of weight out of the rear of the truck, make some adjustments, some short-run adjustments to compensate that, to make your truck a little bit lighter, make it a little bit faster. Definitely something that a lot of these guys might have done under this latest yellow. And that's the last time they could have made changes there. So I certainly would have hoped Daniel Eberhardt would have done something on that last yellow, because he has got a long way to go to get back through this field. Went from leading the race, and he's going to be restarting probably outside the top 25.
It'd be 29th, Jason. We take a look at the weather. The racing's been hot, Jason Rockefeller. Thank you to KC Kaufman Creative for the weather conditions here on LSR TV and FTN. 80 degrees, 15-mile-an-hour wind speed with 104 track temp. Jason, I think the temperatures are going to get hotter than 104.
Yeah, I could say that's probably going to happen, especially with these guys running the speeds they are with these open setups, laying down rubber here on the racetrack at this virtual Texas Motor Speedway. With the air temp being at 80 degrees and wind speed obviously playing a huge factor. That not even is that just a huge factor, that is a huge aerodynamic factor. And you got to think to yourself, guys, because that wind speed is at 15 miles an hour, it's definitely affecting the tail, the headwind, everything about it. It could definitely change up the handling on your truck. You know, and if that sun keeps beating down the racetrack, obviously we have a cloud cover right now, but it's probably going to be short-lived. I mean, this track is just going to heat up here within these next 16 laps when they come down this time around. So, I mean, these guys are going to be loose. They're going to be fast. Everybody is going to be on the loud pedal here these last few laps. And if you're Logan Helt and Taylor Hirsch, you want to try to break away from this field and you want to try to duke it out here for this win.
Yeah, I want to take a second before we go back under the green flag conditions to thank FTN for their great coverage over the past 3 races. Pardon me, and then allowing LSR TV to kind of partner here in the split 2 coverage. So big kudos over there to Fireball Talks NASCAR and Daryl and all of the people that run that. But it's great to have a good simulcast and to work as a community. I say it all the time on Twitter, if you follow me on there, that iRacing is one of the greatest platforms of all time. And it's a great platform because you get people talking about these eNASCAR qualifying series like Daniel Falkingham, or you get a Jason Rockefeller or myself, and you got Pike, you got Jets over there on FTF. That's covering Split 1. A lot of the community comes together here to put on these great shows and these great events, and all the people at iRacing for just making this a spectacular community. And if you're watching and you don't know what iRacing is, you're watching a virtual race. If you want to be a part of iRacing, iRacing.com. I mean, it's simple. Just join in there. It's 40% off new members. It's down there at the bottom of the screen. You can start your iRacing career, start from the bottom all the way to, in some street stocks and some late models, and drive it all up here to Road to Pro potentially. As we're going to get ready for 15 laps to go here around Pace Trucks on pit lane. It's in the hands of Logan Helt. Green flag back in the air.
You guys finally back into turn number 1 here. Get ready to see a lot of blocking out of this back straightaway as these guys come off turn number 2. You got Liam Sheen actually getting a great restart there. Taylor Hirsch not so great. He's going to move up to the 2nd spot. We got about 3rd with Max Brady and Taylor Hirsch battling side by side. Then you got Matt Kemp. We really haven't talked a lot about Matt Kemp tonight. He's battling with Anthony Burrows. He's going to get ahead of him. Looks like for the 5th spot, maybe going for 4th.
Yeah, and here comes Max Brady now inside of the racetrack side by side with Taylor Hirsch. He's going to have help from Matt Kemp back behind him. Max kind of throws a little bit of a block, tries to get the yard. Battle for the lead right now. Logan Helton is under fire from Liam Sheen. Liam gets loose off the corner, almost to the wall. He saves it off turn number 2 as these drivers fly on 2, 3 wide all the way to turn number 3. Logan Helton, though, holds the lead as they head their way into turn 3, now off turn number 4. This is some great stuff, Mr. Terry Radford. 13 to go for the virtual Texas Motor Speedway.
Unlucky 13 hits the board. It's still Logan Helton's race to lose at this moment. As contact made. There goes Sheen. They saved it. Oh, no, they don't. Big wreck. Big roll. Big wreck. That's everybody on 10th on back in the field is up against the wall. Caution flag is out. Unlucky 13 strikes again. Massive pileup on the back straightaway here at Texas, and that all started. Brady and Logan Helton getting into it, and it just didn't stop till the sun came up.
Let's say a lot of everything just happened right there. We're going to get a look at the replay here. I think what I saw, Max Brady got in the back of Logan Helton as Logan Helton was trying to defend the bottom, got him all out of shape, caused a huge stack up, and then unfortunately Liam Sheen getting the worst end of the stick right there, collecting a few others. Ooh, a lot of people getting a lot of serious damage. That's probably going to end a lot of people's nights right there.
So many good drivers taken out there. Obviously all caused, by Max Brady getting into the back there of Logan Helton. Just an unfortunate, event. And honestly, it really was caused. Max hit the back of the 63, got him loose, then they both saved it. And then I don't know if Max got hit from the rear or if he just got loose due to the contact on the rear bumper of Logan Helton there heading through the center of 1 and 2. But he got loose, got out of shape, hit the apron, slid up, and obviously then, everybody saw what happened. No need for an explanation. But now, guys, 12, now 11 laps to go. This right here could make or break your Road to Pro season, and what just transpired over in turns 1 and 2 could have made or break some of these guys' Road to Pro seasons here. This is going to be one for the ages here, and look who's sitting in 4th. We just talked to him before. Kwame is up here, sitting in the 4th spot in that number 10 machine. He's got a shot to win at Virtual Texas here tonight.
Well, look at the damage on that front nose.
Kwame, he's just snuck up right up here all night long. We really haven't talked about him too much, but now he's maybe got a shot to maybe get a good finish out of this deal. And that's something you have to do. If we have another incident like that, you got to make sure you avoid all the trouble. Like we saw Matt Kemp, he had a really close call there, almost hitting the back, I believe, of Max Brady right there, and Taylor Hurst. Taylor Hurst going up, trying to avoid the check in front of him, trying to avoid Max, ended up getting Liam. That's what really set off the entire wreck. But thankfully, guys like Matt Kemp, Anthony Burrows, they were able to avoid all the melee right there.
Kemp got sideways. The 63 got sideways, so I would imagine that the tires are not happy at the moment. Kwame Scott sitting there in that 10 machine's got a ton of front nose damage. As we take a look, if we can take a look here at the 10 there in 4th, it looks like he's going to come down pit road right here and surrender that spot there out of the 4th place position. So he's going to go to the back. Max didn't get a whole lot of damage there. You look across the board. I mean, oh, there's Kwame. Never mind. Who was that up there? Was that a lap down car that had the damage, or is my timing off? I think my timing's off. But
that was David Robertson, who was apparently a lap down. I don't know. I guess that's where he just cycled out for whatever reason. But he was a lap down, trying to get more damage fixed after he got collected in the previous yellow. So he's just going back, fixing more damage. So yeah, our order should be right. Just a few lap trucks trying to scare us, I guess.
Well, potentially, I mean, we're looking here at the 4th place driver in the 10, 99 on your screen. He's got a perfect truck. Didn't really get out of shape there. Didn't light the tires up. We could potentially be talking to him at the end of this race. But the top 3, Anthony Burrows was sideways at one point. Matt Kemp was sideways. Logan Helton had the rear jacked up a little bit. I mean, Max Brady was kind of around a little bit for a ride. Taylor Hurst was a little bit in that. There was a lot of drivers that lit the rear tires up and trying to take an opportunity now under the caution flag to cool these things down. We're going to restart this race with less than 10 laps to go. I can't stress that one enough, that we are potentially not done wrecking. That you're going to throw harder blocks, Dan, than you've thrown all race long. I think we're going to take the green laps to go. The lights should be off the pace car here when we cross the start-finish line.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. We're going to start maybe seeing some bumpers used up here in turns 1 and 2. Might have a little bit of short track racing on a 1.5 mile semi-super speedway here in just a few moments here. But, people are going to throw some very hard blocks, and people are just going to get sick of it and then just try to move the guy out of the way. So we'll see what happens here on this next restart. But Logan Helton won a couple weeks ago at Las Vegas. See, even go get his second win of the season here in the second split of Road to Pro. He said he had the speed. He said he felt pretty good. He was eating a Snickers before this thing all started. So maybe he's got enough power in the victory lane again.
Well, I tell you what, Dan, Snickers satisfies, buddy, and let me tell you what, if that's the case, if Logan does just end up winning this race, I'd give all credit to Snickers, and I'd be trying to get a sponsorship.
It might have been a Butterfinger. It was definitely something. He was eating something. I think it might have been a Butterfinger. Can't if I remember off the top of my head, but either way, it might be enough power in the victory lane.
Hey, well, it doesn't matter. He's sitting here as the race leader now. He's going to line up next to Matt Kemp, obviously, in that number 54 machine. There's a lot of guys here, Terry, that could come out on the good end, but there's also a lot of guys up at the front. We've seen how racy it's been all night long. You saw what happened with Max Brady. He's still 5th. These guys can come out on the good end or the bad end here as we're coming down for the restart. 8 laps to go from round 4 here at Texas.
I don't think I care what kind of candy it is. Whatever he ate, I want to try it before I go jump in and see it open as well. Green flag's back in the air. 8 laps to go to decide it here. Bottom lane got a whale of a jump to Anthony Post. He's going to go to the bottom side of Matt Kemp. That comes from Kwame Scott. He's going to fight for third as they go through 1 and 2.
We're about to have a Nexus 1, 2, 3 off turn 2. Helton, Burrows, Scott off of turn number 2. Matt Kemp did not get a good restart whatsoever. He restarts second. He's going to fall back to fourth, fall back to fifth, maybe fall back to sixth. But these guys are getting crazy in the midfield.
Yeah, they're 3, 4 wide here off the corner of the number 9 machine, falling way back here, all the way up out of the racing group. These guys got to be really careful. This looks like a pack race at Daytona, Talladega, or Atlanta. You see other drivers still 2, 3 wide. There's the 44 machine. He's going to go to the inside of the racetrack on that number 17, and that is Zeke Willis and Santiago Tires there. They're battling side by side. Everybody fighting for every single position here late in the going. And hey, look at this, shaping up to be a battle for the lead. Anthony Burrows gets the number 2 of Logan Helton a little bit loose. Yellow flag is out though. Man, these guys are going to have a short distance to the finish here. It's going to get good.
Word that Huffman was involved a little further on back in the pack. This should set up for an authentic green-white-checkered. Take a look at the replay here. Driver all the way up the racetrack. This normally doesn't work. You start to see drivers make this contact down the back straightaway. We'll see what happened coming in 3 and 4.
It's not going to be good when you take a look at this.
Oh, there it is. Just got turned.
Hard lip.
It just got turned in 3 and 4. And then
just three, little bit of 3 wide action right there. People got a little bit loose. Looked like, I think that was Kyle Pettle there. I think out in the left rear, somebody got a little bit loose. Couldn't really tell from that camera angle, but just say if you're Hoffman right there, you are definitely in the wrong spot at the wrong time, and definitely gonna hurt him. Gonna hurt his result here tonight after what looked like he was on a great strategy too, where he was leading the race when the yellow came out in the middle of green flag pit stops, and now out of all this, he's gonna end it on the record.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens here these remaining races. But right now, hey, look who's still up there. Max Brady, after that incident there early on, still sitting 3rd. He's going to have a good shot here. If he can get a good restart and probably get the run off turn number 2 and get to Logan Helton's left rear quarter panel, look for Max Brady to try and do something. I also look at Jonathan Delaney right there in that number 21 machine. He's had a solid run all night long. Jordan Coots as well, sitting in 8th. It might not be a win, but he has an opportunity as well to get a top 5. This whole top 10 right now is stacked up with drivers we haven't really talked about all night long, and now they're being presented with the opportunity to go out here and finish top 10, top 5, and heck, maybe even the possibility of a win here.
Yes, great opportunity, as this will be an authentic green-white-checkered finish. We're still in the scheduled distance of this race. As we'll cross the start-finish line, it'll be 4 laps to go, and by the time we take the green flag, it will be 3. So, caution potentially breeds cautions here at Texas.
Yes.
You alluded to that just a little earlier, Dan, that be an opportunity that we're not going to stop seeing caution flags, and we might potentially come down to 2 laps to go and finish inside the scheduled distance with a even shorter run to bring out more in the round number 4 of the Road to Pro qualifying series.
Yeah, and it looks like we're gonna have a natural GWC. It's gonna be, we have 2 laps left at the scheduled distance. Gonna be a normal restart. And I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but I think it's a good time to talk about it now. Predictions for the end of this race, I don't see Logan Helton giving this one away.
Man, I'm still sticking with, I just don't know how bad that damage is on his truck, Terry, but I really think Max Brady, with the aggression that he's turned up here tonight, I think Max, like I said, if he can get to the rear bumper of Logan Helton, get to that left rear quarter panel here off turn number 2, I think that Max Brady would be able to try to pull this one off. I mean, he's, like I said, he's been so aggressive here tonight. Why not be super aggressive and try to go for a win here tonight? He's looking for his first win of the Road to Pro season here for round number 1. But also, there's a lot of guys there in that top 5 who are super hungry to try to get a win, Mr. Terry Radford.
Am I allowed to field? I don't want to be the bad guy and say who I think's going to win it, because if I'm looking at statistics, I got to go with Dan. Logan Helton's been one of the fastest field. Obviously, Daniel Eberhardt with the speed penalty falls out of race with the iRacing gods, moves him back to the 20th position. I see the aggression with Max Brady, but I think if we're looking at a driver, I've got to take the guy sitting there in that in the 5th place position. I got to take Jonathan Delaney. He's in a perfect spot. Max Brady moves Logan Helton out of the way, washes both of them up the racetrack. That 21 machine from the McConey Setup Shop Chevrolet team gets under there and gets this win in a perfect, where did he come from fashion here as the pace truck comes down the back straightaway here. We got a Delaney fame with Ricky Thompson. Take notes, 3 teammates in the top 4. And Kenny Brady out there shouting out our Jason Rockefeller for being on the broadcast. You've missed a ton if you haven't watched the simulcast here on LSR TV and FTN as well. It is a natural green, white, checkered run. So we are going to see who wins round 4. As now the pace truck is going to pull, or the pace sedan pulls himself down the pit lane. Barney, the flag man, has 2 to go. Green flag's back in the air. It's a shootout all the way to the end.
And you're in a good spot. If you're Anthony Burrows, was able to get to the inside in front of Max Brady as they head down to turn number 1. Side by side for P3 and Max Brady and Kwame Scott. Everything looks so good so far as they're going down the back straightaway. Got to see if they get to the white flag this time by. Down the back straightaway, single file for the top 4, top 5 as they're already blocking down to the inside entering turn 3.
Everybody's getting single file right now. Max Brady trying to look to the outside of Anthony Burrows. Not going to be enough. He drifts up to the outside, opens up the door for Kwame Scott. This time by, they're not going to have any wheels. White flag's out. 1 lap to go. Burrows to the outside on Logan Helton here as they work their way into 1. It's a 3, almost 4 truck race here as they work off turn number 2. Who's going to win round 4 here as they work their way off 2 major blocks down the back straightaway?
Burrows to the inside lane, trying to get inside Logan Helton. Side by side,
3 and 4 for the final time.
Terry?
Here comes Anthony Burrows. He has the race lead off before to the tri-oval. Burrows gets the photo finish for second. Helton gets it by 1/1000 of a second. We put Logan Helton into P2, but Anthony Burrows, right place, right time, gets the win. And, well, none of us picked him. So technically we didn't jinx anybody.
Tell you what, Logan Helton leading that final restart. I did not think he was going to give that one up, but Anthony Burrows timed the move perfectly off turn number 2. Got a great run off turn 2, pulled it to the inside of Logan Helton. Logan was not able to block it quick enough, but I know those 2 are teammates, so they probably weren't going to try to wreck each other, try to be too aggressive against one another. But hey, great result for these guys, great win for Anthony Burrows. I'm sure all these guys will be celebrating tonight.
The Nexus Esports team did a whale of a job. We take a look at the unofficial race results here, presented by LSRTV.com. Anthony Burrows takes your win. Logan Helton, Max Brady, Kwame Scott comes up for a 4th place finisher this afternoon with Jonathan Delaney. Taylor Hirscher pole sitter falls back to 6th with Matt Kemp. Octavio Rondoletto in P8. Zeke Willis in 9th, and Jordan Kuntz rounds out your top 10.
P11, Jackson Crowder. P12, to James Wenzel. 13th, to Matthew Zwack. Tyler Groff, P14. 15th spot, Kevin Champagne. Jake Sylvia in 6th seat. Santiago Gutierrez, who had a spin on pit road under green flag stops, was able to come back for 17th. John Jenkins, 18th. Kyle Pell, 19th. And Brad Davies rounds out the top 20, all within about 2 seconds.
Yeah, and then to round out the rest of the field here, Nathan Nicholson comes home 21st, Lawson Peel 22nd. Matthew Batt, the unfortunate result here for him tonight after having a strong last few runs, 23rd. Daniel Eberhardt, the heartbreak, unfortunate for him tonight. Eberhardt is really in a heartbreak scenario here after tonight. He finishes 24th, just outside the top 20. Dallas Pataska there in 25th. Connor Yuroshak there, 26th. Liam Sheen, unfortunate for him as well after a strong run, 27th. Connor Horn, 28th. Matthew Morton, 29th. And Will Cooley rounds out the top 30. And then to round out the rest of the field, 31st, Clayton Hoffman, the number 9 machine. David Robertson there, 32nd. Philip Groner there in the number 28 machine comes home 33rd. And 22 laps down, Jacob Hall in the 23 machine. He comes home 34th. And that's your unofficial race results here from round 4, split number 2 of the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying series.
We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with the post race for the eNASCAR Road to Pro qualifying iRacing series here on LSR TV and FTN. Welcome back to FTN and LSR TV's coverage. We're standing by with the race winner, Anthony Burrows. And Anthony, you waited to the last lap, but you put on one heck of a move to get the race win over there on Logan Helton.
Yeah, dude, I was, once I saw me and Logan are up to first and third or first and second or whatever right there, I told him I was going to work with him until the last lap. I thought I lost it when I went high into turn 1 on the last lap, but got just enough of a run coming off of 2 and was barely clear of Max, so I just decided to go for it, and he didn't block quite in time, and then from there on it's just full throttle in 3 and 4 and just got that, man. I've been wanting one of these for years, dude. This feels so good to finally get one.
Well, now that you got one, do you go out and win a ton more? I know the Nexus guys, they always put a fast hot rod underneath it, so setting you up for Bristol. A little different style of racing. Does all your focus go there?
Yeah, absolutely. Bristol's one of my favorite tracks. I think we'll bring a really good truck there too. So, yeah, if we can go back to back, that'd be nice. But just points racing right now. As long as I make it to round 2, that's what matters, and then the real work gets going in round 2 if I make it.
Well, Anthony, thank your sponsors. Thank everybody that puts that machine on this field. And congratulations on your win, buddy.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
That's Anthony Burrows. He won here this afternoon. And Dan, you're going to talk to his teammate that might not be too happy to finish second.
Yeah, we got Logan Helton up here in the broadcast booth after a P2 finish. You got a copy?
I do. How are you guys?
We're doing good. We're definitely trying to catch our breath after that amazing final green-white-checkered or final restart right there. Probably not the same for you there. Walk through that final restart. Looked like you had a really good restart, had him covered, then Anthony just got you there in the last lap.
Yeah, it was a good restart there. We all worked together really well. We ended up getting 1 and 2 there, and then Kwame was really close at the end. And then coming up at a 2 on the white flag, I saw that I got a big run. Not a big run, but enough to get clear of Anthony. And in my mirror, it looked like he still had Max to his inside. So I come up in front of Anthony, and then I realize halfway through getting in front of Anthony, like, wait, no, he's not clear. But he's a teammate. I'm not going to block him all the way down to the line. So I made my attempt to make him persuaded to not get to my inside, but he got there fair and square. And again, teammate, I'm not going to block him all the way to the line like that. So I went ahead and I just took it, and I ran the high side full throttle the best I could, and thankfully we still got a 1-2 there for Nexus, so that's a big deal. And if I'm being completely honest, the fact that I was even in the top 5 this whole race came as a huge surprise, and I'm not joking saying that. I knew we had a really good setup on the long run, and I was honestly just a little bit worried that it would just take a long time for the setup to come in, but coming in here with this weather, it was on rails, the second we joined the server. So I got to thank Nexus Esports for all their hard work with this, and everyone that makes this possible. It's an honor to be on this team, and I love race with these guys. And again, just good win to Anthony and Kwame getting solid 4th place there. That's really cool. And just thanks to you guys also here for putting on this broadcast. Can't wait to go back and watch it.
Well, it's interesting for you to say that you're very surprised, because it seemed like you've been running so good these last few weeks, even getting the win at Las Vegas, had a good run in Atlanta. It's kind of surprising me that you say that you still surprise yourself. Why do you say that?
Well, I think the obvious answer here is I don't think I can find enough people to fill up a room that enjoy racing at Texas. So
yeah, I'm not surprised.
And I would not be participating, and I would not be present in that room either. So that might play a little bit into my mind there. And just in a lot of C Opens, I think I never really got into the top 5 and stayed in the top 5. But I think I'm realizing now the problem was I didn't practice qualifying until today. So that probably played a bit of a role into it. So I knew we had a really quick setup, but I think it was more of me just in my head a little bit. But I'm glad we can come out here and instantly just keep rolling here and getting these good finishes. And if I'm looking at the sheet right, I think I'm the only guy that has 4 top 5s so far this season. That's in the top 10 in points. So man, if we can just keep this rolling, I'm really excited to just keep going. We're P3 in points, so I'm just if I haven't said it already, I'm excited to keep the I don't really know what else to say.
Yeah, 10-4 on that. Now I think you can keep that going to Bristol in 2 weeks, going to our first short track of the year.
Yeah, I'm excited for Bristol. I think I'll do good at Bristol. I've always liked Bristol. It's a lot of fun. And I'm really confident that we'll have a really good setup for there, and we'll work together really well. So, I'm looking forward to Bristol as well.
Well, as long as you and Nexus can keep on rolling like y'all show tonight, 1st, 2nd, and 4th right there at the end, I think you guys will have no problem. I'll give you the time here to give out any shout-outs. I know you already shouted out on Nexus Esports. I'll let you thank anyone else if you'd like to.
Just thanks to you guys again for putting on this broadcast. Again, can't wait to go back and watch it. I want to thank all my friends and family that support me and watching my races. It's really cool that all of them are so involved in this. And I gotta thank Debbie for being on the car this year. I gotta thank Roasted Gems Coffee and Brian Zimmerman for being on board as well. And and also, can I give a huge shout out to Joe Francis? I don't have it in my room behind me yet, but he made me a really good number out of wood there and painted it all himself, and I just got to give a shout out to Joe Francis for that. And I can't think of anything else. I think I covered it all. Just all my friends and family for watching. Thank you very much.
Very intriguing to see what that old number looks like when you gotta have a look at that. So, but yeah, congratulations on another great result. We'll see you.
No. Sorry, I forgot.
Go ahead.
I forgot. Oh my god.
How can you forget Brian Hicks?
I almost forgot. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot Brian Hicks. I'm so sorry. Brian Hicks, thank you so much for all your amazing spotting, keeping me on the racetrack, and yeah, and just incredible spotting. Thank you, Brian Hicks, so much, and I'm so sorry I almost forgot you in this interview.
Can't believe we almost forgot Brian Hicks. Can't believe it. But don't worry. Good run tonight, Logan. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Bristol.
All right, thank you guys very much.
That is Logan Helton coming home with a P2 finish, and I believe Jason has got Max Brady with finishing P3.
Hello.
Here you are. Well, Max, I'm good friends with your brother. It's only fitting that I get to interview you here for your 3rd place here in round 4 of Road to Pro, man. Congratulations, by the way, on P3, because I'm not going to lie, after that incident, heading into turns 1 and 2, you got up into the back of Logan Helton, you got sideways, you were able to save it there. What was going through your mind when you guys all wadded up going down to 1 and 2, because you almost had your race completely taken out of your hands there in those last few laps?
Yeah, when we went into 1, I didn't expect Logan to check up that much in the center of the corner. So I was kind of just rolling behind him, and he checked up just a little too much than I thought he was. So I kind of just hit the back of him. And when I hit the back of him, it kind of just spiraled my truck sideways, and we all got loose there. But thankfully, I didn't get hit by anybody. And then we got a caution like right at that second, so I was able to keep some good track position.
Yeah, man, you definitely had one of the fastest trucks here tonight. I saw you a lot of the time. You were pulling 2, 3 wide down the back straightaway, having these monster runs off the corner. I guess that just goes to show you had to have had a really good setup here tonight, obviously finishing 3rd, but even with that, you charged through the field, man. Plus 12 from where you started. I mean, what was the setup like, and how was the racing out there tonight here on this virtual Texas Motor Speedway?
Yeah, I mean, the setup was actually really good, especially on the short run. I mean, those first 15, 20 laps, that thing was flying. And then once we got into the long run a little bit, I started to struggle just a little bit with tightness, but I mean, we didn't really have that long of a run. So, yeah, just, it came down to short runs at the end, and that's where I thrive, and I just got to be aggressive. So.
Good job here tonight, my friend. Very proud of you. Obviously, P3 for you and you guys. Anybody you got to thank out here tonight before you sign off for the night?
Yeah, let me think of a bunch of people. So first, I made notes for it, but obviously the ESC boys, Blaze and Brendan, for making an amazing setup. I mean, this thing was hauling on the short run, like you said. I got to thank also Burnt Rubber Podcast for being on the hood of the truck. I mean, all over the truck actually for this for round 1. I want to thank my dad and my mom for watching, Jamie, Brenda, everybody for the support. Thank you all for the broadcast as well, and also thanks to Don for spotting me. I think the reason why I got 3rd there was because Don did an amazing job spotting, so thanks to all of them and everybody else that supports.
Oh, that's Max Brady coming home P3 tonight, plus 12 from where he started. Congratulations, Max. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time for the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway, my friend.
Thanks, y'all.
Well, that's going to do it. We'll gain some final thoughts here. Dan, I'll go to you first. We're leaving the 1.5-mile draft package that we see, and we're going to go to 3 different short tracks in Bristol, Dover, and Darlington. The season has just theoretically begun for a lot of these drivers. 2 super speedways, 2 1.5-mile, 3 short-ish hot temper tracks, and then we go to Charlotte to round out our season. Who do you keep an eye on here? Obviously, Burroughs wins the race. Logan Helton's up here. What driver inside the top 10 you potentially have an eye on for the last 4 of our round 1?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I want to say hopefully this is the last time we'll ever be leaving this place, because maybe this will be a parking lot next year. You never know, but had to get that out of the way. But hopefully, like we've seen, Nexus Esports, they were really good tonight. And I think that's just going to continue to get. They're going to continue to get even better as the season progresses on. They're definitely going to be threats within this next round coming up. And of course, the rest of this round in round 1. But in round 2, I bet they're going to be even stronger if they can get as many of those guys over there. Plus, ESC, Elliott Salary Sports, they had Liam up there. Max is right up there at the end. Unfortunately, Liam got fortunately wrecked there near the end. But it seemed like ESC, they've had the speed all night long. They had the speed all season long as well. So we'll see what they're looking forward to. But man, I'm ready for some short track racing in 2 weeks. And we'll really get to see, like you said, Bristol, Dover, Darlington, Charlotte. I would say 4 completely different racetracks coming up within the next month and a half or so. So really looking forward to see like who's really going to be performing the best. It's going to be whoever performs the most consistent at these next 4 racetracks is really who we're going to have to keep an eye on in round 2.
Well, Jason, I'll kick it to you. Biggest storyline to come out of Texas is fill in the blank.
Definitely going to be fill in the blank, and obviously right now, after tonight's race, this was really what's going to kickstart this round 1 of Road to Pro. Obviously, you just talked about the next few tracks that we have, Bristol, Dover, and other tracks as well. I mean, next week it's going to be really, or not next week, but in 2 weeks' time it's going to be really chaotic. Obviously tonight, very chaotic race, a lot of great racing, a lot of guys who are going to be contenders here for the rest of the season for round 1 tonight in Road to Pro. So going to be interesting to see what these guys are going to be able to do. Look out for some of these guys you really haven't heard of, and definitely stick around and definitely maybe hop up on the bandwagon. These guys have been doing this for a long time. Like I said, I was talking to Max. He's been doing this now for quite some time. Always very fast. Definitely improved on his craft all year long. I recommend to really keep an eye on him here for the rest of the season. But overall, great race. Had a great time calling it, and can't wait for Bristol in 2 weeks.
Well, he said it there. Next race, April 13th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Simulcasted on FTN, LSR TV. You're joining myself, Terry Radford, Jason Rockefeller, and Daniel Falkingham. Hopefully, Dan comes back with us again. Maybe we'll get the driver in his final season of the 8 machine for Junior Motorsports, Michael Conti, to join us as well before the season's over. Congratulations to Anthony Burrows for Nexus Esports for winning here in race number 4 of round 1 of Road to Pro. We'll see you April 13th from the Bristol Motor Speedway.